Hello, and good morning. I hope you can hear me. Happy Saturday. Welcome to Coffee with Sylvia. I am super excited to be here today with you, coming to you from a little bit of a rainy and gray day, but it is okay. So we are here. Let me see. First and foremost, of course, if you're tuning in live or if you are watching the replay, let me know what's your favorite coffee. I have here just a normal brew with some coconut milk and cinnamon, my daily treatment. And today we are going to talk about how to stay sane in insane times, why you should manage your energy and your brain versus time, and how you can do it. How can busy professionals and leaders manage their energy and their brain on a daily basis in order to do all the things that we want to do, especially in those times. So I'm not sure how you're doing at the moment. Tell me in the comments below, how is it going? We have got the message, at least here in Germany, I think 2 days ago, that we are going into the second lockdown this year. So up from Monday, everything is going to be closed except the necessary things. Not want to go into this kind of detail, of course, not into Corona talk at all. Anyway, I just want to share with you today how this might be impacting us even unconsciously, and what we can do in order to keep going, in order to keep rising, and in order to be able to deal with whatever we have on a daily basis. I am just preparing myself for 2 new projects up from next week, meaning that my mental energy requires now even a higher level. You can actually talk about it like a deposit, because new things are kind of more energy taking for your brain. Why? Because you have to create new neural pathways, you have to connect things with each other, get to know the new stuff, and work into those topics as well. So therefore, it's basically not something what is going on autopilot for your brain. This is what our brain operates on a daily basis mostly. Up to 95% is autopilot in order to preserve the energy in our brain. 5% are conscious and not on autopilot. However, of course, when you're going into new things, you have to start to get into this, and this means that you need more mental energy. For me personally, this means, lots and lots of topics, and I'm gonna share some of them here with you today. And without any further bubbling, let me just turn this off. Let's get started. Let's tune in and let's talk about how to stay sane in insane times. First and foremost, I think, and I would love to invite you to start to, and this comes again about conscious and unconscious, consciously start to look at what you look at. There is a famous saying about, I've just heard it yesterday, what you look at things that you're seeing, the things that you're looking at. I'm not sure if I got it right now, but basically what I mean with that is when you have your notifications on your phone and you get an update about all the things that might or might not impact you in one or another way, it starts to trigger your overall well-being. It starts to trigger your brain. And this might be not in a positive way, especially right now when we talk about all the things that are going around the world, especially right now here in Germany, of course, in all other areas in the world as well. So let me know how it's going in your country at the moment. Here in Germany, we are going to have another time where we can choose how to deal with it. And again, when we start to get notifications, pop-ups on every single hour or a few times per day, we just first of all get, of course, distracted. We will go into that in just a few minutes. But second thing, we unconsciously might grab something. Okay, oh my God, I cannot go. For example, I was just talking with a client of mine. We cannot go for the money and petty. We cannot go for, there are some things that might be impacted due to this lockdown that are not super required for surviving. However, we of course love doing them, and we might not be able to do them for the next, at least right now, for the next 4 weeks. So meaning that you might unconsciously start to think, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. And you go into a kind of a survival mode. And this will bring me exactly to the first topic, how to stay sane in insane times. First of all, we have to go inwards. And this overall year here brought me to the point where I started to go inwards. Had to admit a few things towards me, towards myself, what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. And I implemented something that is maybe a no-brainer. It's a routine. However, it's something that brings the discipline into my day. And right now I have lots of things going on. So I have to wake up at around about 6 a.m., like 6-ish, in order to make sure that I can meditate and move my body for at least 30 minutes. Either yoga here at home, a workout here at home, or I can go for a run. Right now I can go for a run. I had also, I'm not sure if you know this, but at the beginning of the year I got stuck in France. The lockdown there was very hard. So at some point we weren't even allowed to go out for any kind of walk or run. So of course this was super challenging, and I'm facing right now the second lockdown here with way much more preparation. And of course, when it comes to staying sane in insane times, it's about looking what you have in control, not into anything outside of you, not to focus on the things that we can't do, not to focus on the things that might not go well, but rather to stay with yourself, look into yourself, and start to implement even the smallest routine. This will give you not only the sense of control, but allow your brain to soothe, because this is what your brain and your body and your mind will be able to count on no matter what. And this brings an overall satisfaction into your day. And when I'm talking about staying sane, it really means well-being and having this real happiness at work and in life. And of course, we can now here discuss how we want to define here happiness. I had a lot of discussions about that with many people. For me personally, it's about being resourceful, having this internal wholeness and fulfillment, and therefore be able to also provide this to everybody around me. And when it comes to work, if it's for me personally, this deep sense, and I hope this covers probably many of us, about this meaning. We want to have meaning in life. And how can we get meaning? With commitment, with compassion, and some conscious, I just forgot the third thing, a consciousness about commitment, compassion, and of course, creating on a daily basis. This brings one of those parts of meaning within our daily life at work. And when it comes to this overall topic of why we should actually do this, and this brings me to the next topic that I want to discuss here with you. Why should we manage our energy and our brain, and of course, therefore, somehow our body? Well, if you are like me, you might have many things on your plate. On a regular basis, sometimes maybe even on a daily basis. I literally need the energy. Like, this is not even, and I think many of you, and don't get me wrong, I just woke up even today and I was like, it was not like I'm not jumping out of the bed. I'm not basically super full of energy. No, I have to start to create it. And this is basically why you should start and consider or even think about it if this is something what you want to implement. Manage your energy and your brain for well-being, and therefore for more satisfaction, for more joy, and of course higher performance, no matter what you are doing in your professional and your personal life. Because whatever we are doing, we need energy for that. I just mentioned it at the beginning. I'm gonna need lots of more mental energy throughout the day than normally. Why? Because I start to work on new things, and therefore I need to see if I want to increase my movement. However, in order to be able to start to do this, I would love to invite you to start to, on a daily basis, decrease the threat and increase the reward circuit. What do I mean by that? Nowadays, we have something, this is still in us like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, this so-called survival mode. Our amygdala is just shooting in, and your whole body is basically under stress hormones in order to support you to survive. This is nothing what we have to do today most of the time in front of our laptop, but certain emails, maybe some people, maybe some circumstances or events just get so under your skin that you can't help but literally feel it physically. And this is basically how your body starts to create all the hormones, and you start to have those emotions, feelings, and therefore some actions that might or might not serve you in any given moment or throughout a longer period of time, especially when this becomes habitual. We are habitual creatures if we want or if we don't want, so it's super important to start to pay attention to what we do on a regular basis. And again, this is probably 95% unconscious. So in order to start to recognize it, we have to be aware and conscious about what we are doing, what we are saying, how we are feeling. And to come back to our survival mode, it's all about how we look at things. And I have to admit that and this is basically connected purely with us, our own perspective and our own focus on a daily basis. And I have really forgot for almost a decade, I haven't been focusing on myself. I was completely in this outer world. So no matter what happened, it would start to impact my well-being. It would start to impact how I feel, my emotions, my thoughts, my patterns in my behavior. And yeah, for now, over half a decade, I work with myself in a very, well, at the beginning, probably very hard way. But nowadays, I would say that, especially in this modern world, we have to start to pay attention how, especially people who are sitting in front of their laptops every single day for 8 hours, maybe for 10 hours, or even longer when you start to do something in front of your laptop after work. It's about to start to manage your energy and your brain in terms of reducing your threat and increasing your reward circuit. And this can happen easily when you start to focus on what you can do in order to make this happen. So let me give you an example. When I get an email, and the outcome is nothing what I was maybe expecting, and it gives me a little bit of a hard time to see what is going on, and they maybe look what kind of another chain is going to happen, what kind of work is behind that, and so forth. I think you might be able to relate to that. Sometimes things just don't work out the way how we want, and probably this month is also an example for that here as well. So it's all about to start to see how can I reward myself. And I was just sharing with you at the beginning, implement your routine, whatever is working for you. I customized it for me. I tried many things, and I have to have it quick, simple, and straightforward, so I can do it without thinking that I have other things to do. And this is basically one thing that already gives you this reward feeling, the satisfaction in the morning when you start doing this, when you start your day with something what you set your mind up to, and then you accomplish it. You start with a reward circuit overall within your day. And this is something what then starts to support your brain to create energy and to manage your brain, because you have kind of like this, and I call it your internal organization, right? We have all our software, basically what we've gained, accumulated, what we have experienced, events in our life, society, people, etc. And this is basically our overall software. And then we have programs that we download. And this would be one of the programs that I would invite you to download to start to see how you can increase reward, for example, through a routine on a daily basis. And this might be even just 10 minutes at the beginning. Start small, start with turtle steps, because whenever you start to change, it might be challenging to keep going and implement it in a sustainable way. I hope this makes sense. If not, just let me know, just drop me a message and share with me what you would love to hear about that. And now, last but not least, I'm going into how busy leaders and professionals can manage it. First and foremost, I've just shared with you two things how we can start doing it. Maybe enjoy a small thing, like a coffee. For me personally, it's throughout the day, a few times, just to put on a favorite song of mine and dance, just release all the things. And this is going to support you, especially when you see something that is going under your skin, that is basically kicking in and taking over and basically putting your whole body under the survival mode, meaning that you have lots of cortisol, lots of adrenaline within your body, hormones that are basically meant to help you to survive. However, you're probably sitting, you're not able to run away. And this translates into maybe anxiety, maybe helplessness, or for some people, even with aggression. And this is the fight, flight, or freeze mode that is basically translating into our modern world. And in order to start to deal with it and manage it, it's not about not having it. It's something good, right? Especially when you are really in a dangerous situation where your body has to do it. It's all about to start to realize it, to check in with ourselves, and to start to manage it. And how can we start to manage it? Like I mentioned before, really look at your reward and your threat mode on a daily basis. What is going to create this kind of feelings within you, just consciously? I had it for a few years, and I would basically really neglect it and start to push it away rather than working with it and start to manage it, and inviting you, I hope you don't have to learn it the hard way like I did, but inviting you to really look at it and check it out. One of those things, whatever works for you. The routine would be the first thing that would start to pay into the reward versus threat circuit. The second thing is to start with the most important thing throughout the day, or maybe with the thing that you have procrastinated, maybe the thing that might be for you challenging, and this gives you basically this feeling of reward. Most important thing takes, of course, a lot of energy as well, so it's suitable and maybe doable or easier to apply for yourself in order to keep up and manage your brain and energy, rather than keeping all the difficult things for the afternoon or maybe late evening, when you've used lots and lots of energy throughout the day, especially when you have to respond to emails. This requires lots of brain energy. So inviting you to start with the most important thing and see if this is maybe working for you or not. The second thing is, and I've just shared it briefly as well, is the elimination of any kind of distraction. This kills your brain. It is not meant to jump from one thing to another. I've shared it in one of the lives recently. This is one of my challenges, to focus and not to jump from one topic to another. But for many of us, it also means to check out and see if the phone is not providing any kind of notifications that are not serving us. Conscious consumption of any kind of media, any kind of news, especially right now when the world is, Yeah, the way how it is, it basically invites us to start to go inwards and start to manage our energy and brain. And last but not least, and this is a big one as well, to start and to see when is your peak mental performance. For some of us, it might be maybe you're an early bird or a night owl or whatever it is for you. Start to pay attention towards it. Check out throughout the day, when do you have a little bit of your lows? And when you are then starting to, for example, you have meetings. I don't have the power of all the meetings that I have. I get invited and then I have to start to perform and be hopefully the best version of myself in all those meetings. Of course, I fail in that as well. I just do my best, and this gives me basically the feeling of, okay, next time you might want to dance 1 minute longer or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It just basically start to pay attention when you can perform the best way, and start to schedule your tasks, especially those where you have the power over it, accordingly. This again starts to pay into your reward circuit in order to deal with any kind of adrenaline and cortisol. You start to create lots and lots of happiness hormones, such as dopamine, endorphins, and you start to really be more energized throughout the day and able to work for a longer period of time, even on maybe more, maybe on more challenging times, things in your mind. So I hope this makes all sense. Yes. So how, first of all, how to stay sane in insane times? Implement even the smallest routine. Maybe it is just to take a cup of coffee and do nothing but stay with you and be mindful and have a coffee. Any kind of discipline that will support you to keep this control and keep this, soothe yourself throughout this challenging times in one or another way. The second thing, what we were talking about, why you should manage your brain and your energy, because your body is still operating on something that is called the survival mode. And stress is nothing bad, don't get me wrong. I've had, again, also with that, a long journey. I've learned it in many different ways. I went from extreme stressful times to extreme unstressful times. And the key is in kind of the middle way, the harmony. But in order to start to manage this, you have to become aware, and you should really manage your, or even consider, you should not, I'm not telling you, just really consider and inviting you to check with yourself when you are going into your survival mode, because for many of us it happens unconsciously, and see if you want to manage it in order to start to implement this well-being into your daily life, but also meaning in work, or actually this real happiness, this resourcefulness, real happiness at work, resourcefulness, fulfillment, and this internal kind of harmony and wholeness within you, this inner calm. And again, if this is kind of attacked, now we come to the next, how could you manage this? First and foremost, check in your most important thing. What do you want in order to increase your reward? So therefore create more energy. Second thing is to start to check what kind of eliminations do you have throughout the day. And last but not least, to see when is your peak mental performance throughout the day, and plan your big things accordingly. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. I am gonna enjoy the last weekend without the lockdown, heading for a lunch with a friend of mine. But before I will leave, I would like to share with you last few things. What I do on a daily basis. You might have seen it last week. I was on a Wim Hof weekend where I start to basically work with this internal stress level, because stress is nothing bad in particular. It's basically this thing that allows us to get driven, to have this drive and to perform and to deliver. However, it's basically, again, this internal harmony. So check in with yourself, especially right now when things are changing on a weekly basis. Check in with yourself, see how you feel, close your eyes, and allow yourself to maybe have the 2 minutes or 4 minutes of deep in and exhalation, or maybe just open the door, disconnect from this old thing that we have here in front of us, disconnect from work, and take deep in and exhalations. Put lots of oxygen in your body, and then start to work again. The next thing is that I want to share with you. See if you can implement this. And for me, this was at the beginning of my 20s, bring the lightness into my life. I was feeling so heavy. I was feeling so, it was almost like being in a washing machine. And someone just puts always kind of like the program, and I am like in this washing machine in kind of this roller coaster thing, and I could not understand how to get out of it and how to then program my own washing machine. I hope this makes sense, this example. So inviting you to bring this playfulness, this lightness into your daily life, in order to get this heaviness out. And this happens especially when we are working like this all day long. This happens when we have lots and lots of emails that might be challenging, that might be maybe even annoying, getting under our skin. So inviting you to create this habit of joy so you can basically face whatever is in front of you. Last but not least, like I said, we have our internal system, this kind of organization within us. Look if you can schedule how to take care of it. We take care of all the things that we have, our cars, maybe our motorbikes, maybe our devices, whatever it is. We have basically like, the cases for our devices to make sure that they don't get hurt. Inviting you to do the same for yourself and schedule it. Schedule the half an hour for yourself. And then start to find something that is, for me personally, still a little bit challenging, but start to find this way of how to deal with yourself in just a very quick manner. So meaning that you have approximately 5 seconds when your amygdala is triggered by any kind of event, and then your whole body goes into the survival mode through those hormones. And you have this kind of a few seconds, 5 seconds around about. This is what science and research suggests. And you have those few seconds and see how you can then switch, maybe if something is annoying you, maybe if a notification is annoying you, and how you can start to switch and take this power over. So you can start to program your own washing machine. But even more important, when you want to think about your own software and your own programs. So really think about what kind of program do you download and how. What are the emotions, the thoughts, the feelings, and of course, therefore, the behavior that you want to apply on a daily basis, no matter what is happening. So no matter what we maybe mess up, or maybe fail at something, or maybe haven't reached our own expectations, or on the other hand, maybe we have put all the work into it, but it still didn't work out the way how we wanted. I just quote a client of mine. He mentioned I was working a lot on a thing, and I wanted to work it out the way how I wanted it to work out, but it didn't work out the way I wanted to work it out. Meant that I had to put lots of work and effort into it again in order to make it happen. But this small moment of disappointment was definitely there. And I had this fight, freeze, flight mode, this 5 seconds, and I was like, nope, I'm switching, I'm taking over. And this is exactly what you do within this Wim Hof practice, and what you can do on a daily basis. No matter what you're doing, you don't have to expose yourself to coldness, but basically have this for 5 seconds, and then you use this adrenaline and this basically the stress for you rather than it uses you. I hope this makes sense. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching the replay. So let me see. Good morning. Oh, you hear me twice? Oh. I hope I hope this is, I hope this was working out. Yeah, maybe I have to recall it and delete this one. We will see. So thank you so much for joining. I wish you all a beautiful weekend. I will now finish my coffee and then see if I have my umbrella, and check out what I can find today, last 2 days, where everything is open. So thank you so much for tuning in, for joining. I hope that there is something, really take whatever resonates with you, skip whatever doesn't. Maybe you have heard us about something already. Yes, but nothing reached you in the same way how it will be today. Why? Because we are different every single day after experiences, events, etc. So inviting you to be conscious and aware with yourself, be committed to yourself. I'm super committed to what I'm doing, my work, but I also, really not for such a long time, but now for a few years, I'm also committed towards myself, taking care of myself. It still sometimes takes some effort to stay committed to myself, but inviting you to keep this harmony within, especially when you're working from home. Do whatever you need to do in order to start to enjoy it, because this laptop is all around us. So maybe you want to even put it somewhere away if you can't stop thinking. But I will share even more about you, how we can switch off our work brain and switch on our private brain if you wish. There are many things that we can do, but it has to start with a choice. You have to start to choose to maybe get out of anything that you're doing right now as a habitual thing and choose to implement a new habit. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend. Stay safe and healthy wherever you are. I will hop on probably next Saturday latest and see what we can do. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Send me a DM, and I'm looking forward to see you.